Speaking about growth plans, we want to take a look at the economy 53 years later. What are some of the areas Kenya has made tremendous strides, and also what are some of the areas we are yet to make some good strides? Well, we start off with the first area of that was envisioned during the Jomo Kenyatta's presidency. That was three things that Kenya needed to address: poverty, which is still one of the teething problems that continues to face the government. And we can move to the next one, which is around ignorance, where the government has been trying to ensure there is quality education at all levels of public schools, be it primary level, secondary, and even the university level. The other area that the government was planning to ensure things are up to date, and that is fighting the disease burden. Well, that's just the three things that Kenya was keen on achieving after it gained self-independence. But have we really achieved it? Well, you'll see that shortly in our next slide. And let's take you down memory lane. And in 1963, Kenya's population was at about 8.1 million, and now it's about 43 million. It has sort of quadrupled over time. But the most interesting aspect is the country's population is the sixth highest in sub-Saharan Africa. And has this increase in population translated into more jobs? Well, unemployment is at about 40%. So if you do 40% of that, it gives you roughly out of every 100 people, 40 are unemployed. Well, the next one, let's take a look at is in 1963, Kenya's gross national income per capita stood at about $100. By 2012, that figure is estimated at $850, quite a substantial jump compared to 53 years ago. Some good strides there. Let's move on to the next one, where we'll also see something around the issue of the economy. Well, 45% of the population lives on less than $1.25 a day, and more than 65% on less than $2. Of course, this just shows you the grim situation around the earning levels in the country. They're still not up to par compared to other economies. Let's now get to this other interesting slide where it talks about really issues of child mortality. And in 1963, about 175 children under 5 were dying per 1,000 live births. By 2011, that figure had fallen to less than 73. That was a significant progress there for Kenya. And if you see the next one, we'll also look at the disease burden, where if you can get to the next slide, you'll see how the disease burden continues to be a challenge for Kenya. Well, the proportion of people living with HIV, meanwhile, has fallen from a high of 10% in the late 90s to 6% in 2012. Of course, 6% is still a substantial amount, actually a substantial figure when it comes to ensuring that the disease burden is addressed. So that just gives you a snapshot of how the economy has performed in the last 53 years. And we will continue to break this down for you. But for now, we want to take a quick